Shabbat Shalom. In our tradition, we're taught to go deep, to dig beneath the surface, to look for meaning, to look beyond what's immediately apparent, because that's where you'll find the holiness. And one great example of that is in our Torah portion this week, Nasso, as we're taught about the different tribes and the gifts that they gave in honor of the dedication of the tabernacle. We're told each tribe and the leader who presented the gift on behalf of the tribe. And looking at the names, examining the names of these tribes, there's a great lesson to be learned, because 11 of the 12 names are names that are holy, that are inspiring. You have names such as Nitanel, which means God has given to me. You have Eliav, God is my father. Eliasaph, God has added to my life. Elishama, my God has heard. Gamliel, God has provided for me. These are extraordinary names. Avidan, my God has judged. Elitzur, my God is my strength, is my rock. One after another, these names are wonderful and brilliant and deep and holy. And then you come to one name, the Nasi, the leader of the tribe of Yehuda. His name is Nachshon. Nachshon comes from the Hebrew word nachash, which means a snake. And if we look at this roster of names, and you would have to judge who's good, who's bad, who has what it takes to be a leader, who's missing, you would say Nachshon, the one named for a snake. That's the one. That's the one who has a lot of work to do. That's the one who's going to be deficient. But the opposite is true. Nachshon ben Aminadav turns out to be the greatest leader of them all of the leaders of the tribe. Amongst other virtues, he is the one who enters the sea first. He is the one who does that act of bravery, of demonstrating faith in God, that God will bring about a miracle. He is the one after whom everyone follows. Everyone follows his lead, Nachshon ben Aminadav. And it's a great lesson. If you would just judge based on names, you would know nothing about the character of Nachshon. I'm reminded of the story of the great Rabbi Aryeh Levine, known as the Tzaddik of Yerushalayim. It's a story I love because it has Rabbi Aryeh Levine talking to another person, standing next to each other, and the man who he was talking to, his interlocutor, didn't have a kippah on, which was unusual to speak to this great sage who would put a kippah on out of respect, but for whatever reason, Rabbi Aryeh Levine was talking to a guy without a kippah. And his students came up to him and said, Rabbi, what's going on? Why didn't you make him put a kippah on? How could you talk to a person who is so deficient? How could you talk to a person who doesn't even have the respect to put a kippah on? And Rabbi Aryeh Levine said, look, I'm not a very tall man. I am very short in terms of physical stature. I can't see to the top of his head, but I can see his heart, and he has a good heart. And that's one of the great lessons of our Torah reading, is that so often we judge based on appearances, whether it's a name or whether it's physical appearances, how a person dresses, how a person presents, and that tells a story, but not the whole story. The rest of the story is up to us to discover, to go deep, to dig, to explore, and to understand that on the surface is not where one finds holiness in life. It's by going deeper. And that's what this Shabbat and every Shabbat gives us the opportunity to do, to explore, to learn, to study, to stop living on the surface and to begin to take the time, because that's what Shabbat gives us, is time to take these 25 hours to dig, to find, and to treasure that which we discover in the holiness that inevitably surrounds us. Wishing each and every one of you a Shabbat Shalom.